Just a quick tour of the lawn. This lawn, it's been overseeded with Let's Go all protein 3 times in the past 6 years. Last year, huge fungus breakout, wiped out a good amount of my lawn. It looked like that, but worse. Last fall, overseeded with the Jonathan Green Original. It's come in quite well. I still had a fungus problem this year, but was able to at least suppress it so it didn't destroy the lawn, and it's recovering quite well. I'm overseeding this 1,800 square feet because the kids play their sports, softball, practice for volleyball in this area. So I'm just trying a new variety that's supposed to be a little tougher to traffic and diseases. So that's how that's looking. This will be getting overseeded with SuperTurf 1. Now, this area here, around the fire pit, the kids also bounce their balls off the shed and stand right there, is 80% of the Jonathan Green Original, not the Ultra, Jonathan Green Original. This area has seen plenty of water. I made sure it got at least an inch a week, sometimes a little more. A little more attention to the feeding in this area. And you can see just where the sprinkler starts to not reach this area. Plus, I'm in and out of the shed here, so don't really care. But there is grass here, and there wasn't grass here for 20 years. The soil here is pretty rough, and I keep it at 4 inches. It's nice and thick. It's doing quite well. But like I said, that's with staying on top of the water and good feeding. My new project, that's cut down to 1.5 inches. That's as low as I wanted to go with my mower. It started just hitting soil and rocks too hard, and I'm just not subjecting my good lawnmower to that. I do have this crappy Toro over here that I was hoping to have running by now to do this with, but that hasn't happened yet. I'm gonna spend about a half hour on it, see if I can't get it fired up. It needed a coil. Now I'm sure it needs a carb cleaning. But even with putting a little gas down the carburetor, it doesn't sound so good. The rest of the yard is a mix of old turf and overseeding. You can see where I took a little mow strip, and that's only a 1/2 inch shorter than my normal cut. And of course, with all the rain we had Friday, I could probably mow this 3 times in a week. And this is all old turf, and I think there's a lot of fine fescues. There is a fine bladed grass throughout my lawn, especially here and out front, that no matter what, I mean, you can see all the brown spots. Although I had a lot of fungus damage, most of this is brown. As soon as July hits, as soon as the temps get up high, this stuff just goes dormant. It comes back every year, and it's starting to come back, but I don't like it just because it goes dormant. It doesn't matter how much water I put down, what I feed it. If we get temps into the 80s and it stays there, it goes dormant. As you can see underneath the tree where it stays shaded, it's not quite as bad. Now, as you get up here, along this area, and from about the house to the edge of the deck here, this pretty much got wiped out last year by the fungus. But this is 100% Lesco all pro teams. And I like it. It's not too fine, it's not too thick. It does grow fast when you feed it. I'm learning to cut back on my nitrogen. It always grows well. And even when we have really hot, dry summers, it stays nice and green. And I'll give you a good example. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera. This patch was completely wiped out 6 years ago. It's 100% Lesco. When you look over here underneath that tree, see all that white? That's all that fine bladed grass that goes dormant every year, no matter what. And just for comparisons, this is way overdue for cutting. That's how fast it grew since that rain. As you can see, I did a little test mow in this area, and I took a little more than the 1/3 rule off, so it's gonna take me 3 mows to get back down to the normal height again. Now, I can tell you this area here is all Lesco, which sees zero care other than fertilizer and getting mowed. I never watered this area. It shows, it does show, but it survives, and that's my goal. I just want lawn that survives, so I don't end up with dust and mud fields. But it's starting to recover. It did start to go. It was turning until we got all the rain. July was fairly good for us for rain, so the lawn didn't suffer too much. So 0 water here. It's a little protected, but it seems to do well. The soil here is pretty good though, and I think that's why it grows so well. Let's see, I scalped it a little bit there. And just for comparison, this is as bare as this last year. That's what this area looked like last year, other than some weeds. But this whole area from the flagpole all through here is Jonathan Green original that I threw down last fall and did nothing to. Absolutely nothing. And this is how it came in. I have been doing the weeds. That's fairly new. The weed control with the spray, and it's working quite well. And this area right here, out to my property line, I made a little more effort to plant the seed well, but the seed is over a year old. It's from last year. That's Jonathan Green with no care alongside the road. This area suffers a little bit. I get a lot of runoff from the driveway when it rains, comes down, runs off. I seem to get, I don't know if it's leaching nutrients or it's spreading fungus, but it seems to do all right. As you can see, I still have spots. This area here flagged out. I was in rough shape. And all I've been doing is I've been giving it an extra ½ inch of water. The whole area kind of looked like this. Again, I don't know if that's all fungus or competing with the tree. But can't complain for the amount of money and time I put into it. It's not like it's getting a lot of good treatment. It just gets food and water.